This is Wayne Dorvan, and welcome to our webinar huddle on June 18th. And as you can see in a second, you're seeing me right now, but you're going to see that we've got a whole table full of folks here, all of which are going to be involved in today's discussion. So these are all interns here at Nourish the Planet and the Center for Economic Excellence and Development. And they're going to all, just to get engaged in conversation that we're going to have, we're going to certainly be open to questions from you. So those of you out there on the internet know that there's a chat section that you can ask some questions in. There's some people live in the room here, so if you guys have questions also you can ask. But more importantly, I want you guys to think about if you've got questions you want to ask each other. So if you'd like to do that during this will be what the purpose is. So the idea is I'm going to ask you some questions and then just let you interact with me, maybe ask me some questions if you'd like, however you'd like to do it. So I'm just going to start and do the most obvious one that you would do when you do this. Is the person is brand new. He literally came for his first day today. And I actually saw him as he walked in because I was doing a phone call where when I do calls I wander around the room and walk in our warehouse. So he was in here. So tell us a little bit about yourself and just your just kind of what brought you here and so on.
Yeah,
Joe, right?
Yeah, I'm Joe. I am from Connecticut originally, and I go to school at UConn. I'm a biology major. I'm about to enter my senior year, and I'm focusing in ecology and evolutionary biology. But I'm more interested in like the agriculture aspect and like growing plants. And this seemed like a great opportunity for aquaponics. Just recently in May, I went on a 3-week field trip, kind of touring the Midwest, Colorado, Wyoming, and we like kind of got a pretty good overview of how the system works. And obviously, it's not sustainable at this point. So,
who did you visit? What place?
We went from Pennsylvania and visited like Amish farmers, chicken farmers. Went to grain farmers up to like 3,000 acres. Talked to them. We went to big dairy farms, research centers, and Monsanto, the Land Institute in Kansas. We went pretty much all over.
And we was a group of.
It was 2 professors and 6 students.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And 1 van. We camped all the way through. It was pretty fun.
So, a whole bunch of years ago, I did a similar trip when I was a college professor with 20 of us in 2 vans, and we were gone for a month, and we went and started at the corner of Florida in the Panhandle near Tallahassee, and we kind of zigzagged our way down to where we ended up in the Florida Keys. Was our last stop over a month. Mm-hmm. And there were 2 professors, I think 2 other staff kind of help, and then the rest were students, all juniors and seniors or graduate students. Yep. And it was just a lot of fun. Yeah. We camped for most of the time. So.
It was a great experience for sure. I learned way more than I thought I'd learn.
And so, how did you pick us to do an internship with? Where did you hear about this? And
well, it was kind of funny how it fell together. I was like thinking of spending my summer in Connecticut, just doing like landscaping. But I've done that before, and I wasn't ready. All my friends are leaving, and one day I was thinking like, what am I gonna do? I was just really kind of pondering on it. And out of the blue, my friend called me and asked me what I was doing, and like he said, mentioned I should come to Denver for the summer. And so I looked up sustainable agriculture research internships in Denver, and this one popped up, and I looked at the website, and I really liked everything.
And you looked at it, you did a Google search?
Yeah, just a Google search, Google search, and it was like one of the first ones.
Cool, very nice. By the way, I've been told that us older folks use the word cool way more than others, but I also heard it in a rather sort of a funny comedy setting, actually on, I think, The Last Comic Standing, or one of those things that's out there where there's a black comedian who was saying the only time you ever hear the word cool used is by a 40-year-old white person, but you'll never hear a black person at any age use it. So anyway, so sorry about overuse of that word. Let's move on down the row to the next person. Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of in the same way. By the way, for everybody out there, you're going to see an amazing diversity of locations you're going to hear as you go through here. So go to you.
All right. Well, I grew up in Orange County. And I currently am a rising junior at Haverford College out in Philadelphia. I'm studying computer science and math. But going to a liberal arts college, I've sampled around the different fields, and one thing that's piqued my interest is environmental studies. and now I'm here for 6 weeks.
Cool. Oh, did it. Cool. Haverford is not a real big school, so tell it, just because you told me about it, in contrast to UConn and IU we're going to hear about, and CSU or CU. So how big numbers of students?
1,200 students, all undergrad.
So not a real big place. All right, let's move to Serena.
All right, so I know we were just talking about diversity of location, but I am also from Orange County, California. Jason and I actually went to high school together. I'm currently a rising junior at Washington University in St. Louis, studying anthropology and minoring in writing. Brought me here, well, I sort of recently decided to focus my anthropology major in global health and environment studies, and I guess this is the first sort of hands-on, direct thing I've been doing that relates to the environment.
By the way, look, I'm looking up, and by the way, everybody in the room here, all of us can see what's showing on the. Is that you? One of the two?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Like, it's so far away. It's kind of. It's on Washington University's website.
I know.
So, all right.
Should be me, right?
Yeah. And it's in. Do you recognize the location?
I do recognize the location.
Is it near a sorority, fraternity, near one of the, is it on campus even? Or
I think it might be, I think so, yeah, or right off. We actually don't have sorority houses, but
okay.
It might be near some of the residential buildings, if I'm not.
And how big is Washington?
I could actually be wrong.
How big is Washington U?
6,000 undergrads, about.
And quite a few graduate students too, right?
I think, yeah. Pretty significant graduate program.
Let's start back to Joe. How big is UConn?
I think it's around 25,000, and probably I'm not sure undergrad. I'd guess a little bit more than 10,000 or around 10,000 maybe. Not sure. Don't quote me on those numbers.
Well, and I also think that of the three we've talked about so far, quite a bit different in that Haverford's in a suburb of Philadelphia. You're obviously in St. Louis. You're not in a big metro area at all.
In the middle of nowhere, Connecticut.
Right. It's not a very big metropolitan area. So let's move across the room to Noi.
Okay. I'm Noi. I am the business admin intern here at Nourish the Planet, and I am a rising junior. I go to Indiana University, Bloomington. I'm studying finance and technology management. And I knew I wanted to live in Colorado this summer, so I simply just did a search as well for any type of finance or business internships, and this popped up, and the description was exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, and I'm really excited, and I've loved it so far. I've been here for about 3 weeks.
Look at the school. What it's saying about your school up there.
Yeah.
Number one by recruiters in the U.S.
Kelley School of Business is a great program. This year it went from number 13 in the nation to number 8 in the nation. So the program is getting very intense in a good way. And yeah, I love the professors and all the people I work with, and everyone in the program is great.
Okay. And now we go to Tiffany.
I'm Tiffany Szymanski. I was born in Germany, and I grew up in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, which most people know as the country of Dubai. And I moved over here when I was 18. I started going to CSU. I am an IO psychology major, which is workplace psychology. I have hopes of going to grad school for human resources, and I have been working with Nourish the Planet for almost 5 months now. Yeah, it's been a ride. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, you're the veteran.
I am.
So here we have 5 so far, 5 different universities. 3 of you fairly large, and then 2 small, well, actually mid-sized with Serena and smaller with Jason. And then we'll go to Susan. And I'm gonna, right now as you're seeing on the screen, you don't see Susan, but she's here and she's raising her hand, and she was being real honest and actually surprised me, because Susan's been in the room and asked questions on several, but she's a little bit afraid of the camera. So I hope that's just more comfortable. Let's sit back there and talk from there, because I know she likes to talk about stuff. So Susan, tell us about yourself.
I graduated 2 years ago. I have a degree in conservation, fisheries, and wildlife biology. But a double minor in general philosophy and zoology. So for me, it was all about the animals. I had this moment when I was looking over a book somewhere a billion years ago where I saw a picture of the warehouse at Customs. Tusks and tiger skins as far as the eye can see, and I cried. It broke me. Something inside me went, I have to do something. I have to save the last of them. And I looked up schools that offered wildlife biology, and I found CSU, and I moved up here and just went after it. I haven't really done anything with it since until I got to this place, but I love this place because of the fish.
Cool.
They make me very happy.
And so now we're seeing the only one of this group, but that is not in college at the time. So we have an intern group that varies from being people that are in college. We've had some high school age folks, and then a group that are out of school or that are grad students and either looking to make a career change, looking to learn something new, just a whole variety of things. I wish we could show it, and maybe, Leigh-Ann, we can try this a little bit later when you switch maybe the camera to me for a time, and Eric, you can maybe help with this. Maybe we take a picture. It'd be nice to show people the intern wall of fame over there. If we can move the webcam into there, I wish I would have mentioned it earlier. But Eric, before you leave, Eric, you come back in here, because Eric's our last one of the interns that's here today that we're going to interview. So, Eric, give us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Eric. I am from Windsor in Colorado. I've always grown up in Colorado. Currently, right now, I just finished my first semester in the Colorado Film School down in Aurora, and I'm going to be doing that, emphasizing cinematography. I'm also doing film scoring in Berkeley College in Massachusetts, but it's an online course.
And what film scoring?
Oh, it's for like writing music.
Okay, score. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And what was the rest of the question?
Kind of, how'd you find out about this? Yeah.
I was looking on Craigslist actually for really anything to do with videography, so I can gain experience. And so I found this place, and it said it was an internship, and I was hearing that I might be needing an internship credit for my school later down the line. I was like, okay, we'll go see what they're like. And I was kind of hesitant at first because it sounded more, agricultural, and if I don't know exactly where they're going to be, where you guys are going to be, filming wise, but actually there's a lot of filming opportunities and a whole new way to stretch myself and a different way of stylistic filming.
Good.
So that's where I found you guys.
You can do some music for us. I know I asked you that at first. I want you to make it. He works with Leigh-Ann, for Leigh-Ann, as an intern in videography. So, and when he first came and he said he did some music, we need to do some music for him. So he should be making up a jingle for us or something.
I'm trying to think of it.
So I didn't say it, and some of you said it as we went around, but I'll just kind of go around the room. Susan works as we would call it a sustainability tech or ag tech role. And her supervisor is actually in the room here, Justin. And Tiffany works as a business intern, and so does Noy. And Josh supervises them, and he's in the room. Serena and Jason are the first two interns that I've had here, and they're doing, and I'll have all of them talk about projects that they're interested in a minute. So they're working with me. And then, as we said, Joe's brand new, and he's another sustainability intern working with Justin. And so I'm going to ask Josh a question. I think I'm close to the number, but how many total interns do we have right now? And I think we've got one more videography intern, Heather, and Noy and Tiffany are the only two in the business side, and Jason and Serena are the only two in the sort of, just call it the working for the idiot side, but no, doing work for me and helping me out, and they've got an exciting project that they're working on. And then Joe and Susan are both on the sustainability tech side and the ag side, as Eric was saying, but how many more?
We have Trenton, Paul, Nicole just graduated, Emily,
Jonah.
Jonah. 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, And so this week, I believe, because Josh and I go over these numbers, there'll be 236 hours of some kind of effort put in by this whole group of folks that we talked about, which is pretty incredible and an amazing help for us here at CEED and Nourish the Planet, and then hopefully for them also. So just to give you a sense of what we have. So now I'm going to ask a question that's related to what I tell everybody that I've talked to, and I think I've had this conversation now with everybody but Joe, who's brand new today, and Susan. I don't know if we ever privately had this conversation, and no, we didn't talk about this element when we talked today, but we always tell people that we want them to do 3 things and get 3 major things out of this internship, and one of them is to have fun. Okay, so if you don't have fun doing something, you're not going to last. You're not going to be able to speak highly of it. It just won't be cool. I mean, it won't be nice for you. So anyway, we really want you to have fun. And everybody has different ways of having fun. It's hard to know what's going to be fun for one person and not for the other. So you just create circumstances. So I'm going to ask generally a question, and anybody can answer about one thing that you may have, and just think about this a little bit, that maybe you've done since you were here that was fun, that maybe you wouldn't ever have thought that you might have said, wow, that's fun that you did. So I'll ask that. Second thing is that you should, when you're finished, feel like whatever you did, your effort, was something that you gained value from. So it's going to help you get a job. It's going to help you with your mental attitude, your emotional well-being. It's going to help you with your love of animals. I mean, it doesn't matter. It can be anything, but that it's truly yours. It's something you truly felt like you gave back, that you gained. Excuse me, I jumped into the third for a second because it's going to be similar, but that you really gained. Then the third is, I started to say it, was what you need to feel like you gave back. You did something that had value beyond what it would mean to you. All right. So in our case, hopefully, it has something to do with our goals, which is teaching the world to feed itself, or helping the planet get better, or showing people how they can make a little bit of money making the planet better, and so on. So now I'm going to open it up, and I'm not going to ask anybody specifically, but we've already asked people. If you kind of got an answer, just give me a little bit of body language, and you can answer it. Tell me something that you've done that was fun, that maybe would be a little even interesting to others, or that you wouldn't even have thought might have been fun, but now as you look back on it, and some people are brand new, Joe, so that you would say would be fun. Just
I've got one.
Susan's got it.
I had a silly moment with a paco. We had to move this ginormous fish.
Yeah,
from
tell
one
people
tank
what a
to
paco
another.
is. Tell what a paco is.
It's a fish.
Yeah.
Very,
A
very large,
big fish.
flat. I think they're walleye.
Actually, they're cichlid, and they're a very close relative to a piranha. So, and actually a cousin of a piranha, but they're not carnivores. They don't have big teeth. They actually eat plants. So go on.
So we had to move this particular fish from one large tank to a smaller one, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. They're very fast, and they swim away the second you get near them. So I had a coworker assist, and she had a large net, and I had a small net, and I kind of moved this big fish into a tiny goldfish net, picked him up, and he washed my whole face with his back fin. There's 2 girls just screaming, and we got this giant fish to move, and yeah, like that. Big fishy.
Wow, that's great.
It gave us a
And
shot.
so you caught it in the little net, not in the bigger
little
one.
net,
Wow.
yeah.
That's good.
Giant fish, small net, washed us both. We were soaking wet and laughing, and it was a lot of fun.
By the way, that was probably because I know you've worked with Nicole, who was described earlier. Nicole just finished her internship, and we hired her to be working for us part-time right now. So that's not at all unusual. So just an example of what maybe this internship or anyone else that you might be thinking of doing, or anybody that's watching this, because internships could lead to actually an employment situation for you. Anybody else got something fun that they can think of? That was just sort of funny or whatever.
I fed the fish today. It was pretty fun, just seeing the fish get at the little pebbles, but that's all I really did so far.
That's cool. Anything else? All right. What about this second question? What do you, if anything, do you feel like you've had that you've done so far that maybe feels like you've gained really something from it, from that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten, or that would be surprising to you?
I could answer that one too. In my
let's start with. I saw Tiffany give me some body language, so go ahead, Tiffany.
So, as a psychology major, they really stress the importance of feedback. And so, one of my first projects here at Nourish the Planet was to make a survey, and it was tedious. It was a lot of research, but I feel like it was something important. I wouldn't have had that opportunity elsewhere to make a survey, and I like how Wayne and Josh really supported me with that decision, and I like all the feedback I'm getting from the interns. You know, I actually did the data recently, and it was something like 100% of the interns who have worked here and have left have been satisfied with their job, and it's taken something from that. And I've actually had interns call me up and say, "Hi, I took your survey, and I just want you to know I really enjoyed my experience there. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and yes, I absolutely got a job easier." And that's fantastic. That's everything I want to hear.
Cool. Oh, we did it again. What's another one I should use? What if you were responding? Anybody? Because you like something. What? All right, that'll work. I'll use that. Canyon. Then it wouldn't be
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. There we go. That's a different word. Anybody else had something that they feel? Susan does, so we'll go to her in a second. But anybody else?
Yeah, I do after.
Go ahead.
I actually work on it's for small businesses. It's an accounting software. It's called QuickBooks, and I think that's extremely useful, especially to put on my resume, just another software and database that I know how to use. And yeah, and just working with other people, having a schedule, it's something I could take away from this, and I've learned a lot so far.
Awesome. Cool. Susan.
The second part, the third part of the question, what I did, what I got out of it, and what I gave back are a combined answer.
Okay.
I did the data. When I started school, it was math that scared me to death, and we went up through calculus for biological students, and what it gave us is population dynamics. And I scared me to death when I was in school, but I walked in this building and I compiled all the data. And I took everything on paper for the entire year and I put it onto Excel, and you can analyze it forward and backward by every element available. I've been able to show historical data and what's going on in individual systems down to the individual chemical, even as far as by intern. I can analyze any of the data in this building, and I didn't know I had it in me. I didn't know I could. I didn't know that I remembered it so well, and I didn't know that I could reproduce it, and I did, to the advantage of both myself and the business.
And I would have never guessed you were at all afraid of that, because you just took it on so willingly and did such a great job with it. So I had no idea you had a fear of that.
I enjoyed it.
And I really didn't have any idea that you hadn't ever, I got the sense you'd done surveys before. So that's awesome to think that you had never done it, and now you're doing it. That's neat. Anybody else on that second question? So something that you feel like you've gotten that maybe, just either unusual or you wouldn't have otherwise?
Well, the project we've been working on, the bulk of it is creating a website, and so I've sort of learned a lot about using WordPress and sort of how that works, and I think that's just a really useful skill that can be applied in so many ways, especially today, and so I'm really glad to have had the opportunity to learn how to do that.
There's another little tool that you used just yesterday and today. What was that one called?
Fiverr.com. Is that the one you're thinking of? Yeah.
Has anybody else used Fiverr? And I was a little surprised that you hadn't heard of it. I thought it was probably more known with maybe students even, because if you haven't checked it out, really look. It's Fiverr.com. So
what is it?
It's a site where you can buy anything that is shown there for $5.
Oh, wow.
So they got a logo yesterday that you're going to be seeing on their project. So we'll talk about projects a little bit more, but that they paid $5 for, or we paid $5 for. And I don't know whether you did you get other examples? Did you just go with the one? I don't know whether you used different because you can get multiple people that would be providing that potential. I don't know whether you use more than one or not.
We ordered an infographic as well as a logo.
No, but I meant, did you order more than a logo for more than one group? So that maybe you went with one guy for $5 and a woman for $5, but I don't think you did. You just went with one, right?
Well, with the one guy,
So-
he sent us a few options.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice. Leigh-Ann, would you maybe at some point in this pull up a video, pull up the Mountain Sky Ranch site, and there's a video on there, and I want you to play it at some point. So you tell me with body language when we're ready to go to that. All right, now to that third question. What does anyone feel, and Susan's already sort of given it as a double answer because she's right. I got to tell you, the value that she gained by being able to compile and analyze data, and you make sure you use this in resume you provide, you make sure we help you with on the recommendation side with it, is huge. Most scientists don't know how to manipulate, analyze, compile data very well. So, I mean, you'd think they would, but they really don't. And that's a skill set that'll serve you a long way. So, you know, you talked about Excel and being able to use that, I think, when we were meeting earlier. Having and learning some of these, WordPress, the ability to use WordPress as a tool. So that's awesome. So on the right-hand side, there's a video, Leigh-Ann. You went to the wrong one. That's Mountain Sky. That's Mountain Sky Alpacas. Go to Mountain Sky Ranch. So it's Mountain Sky Ranch LLC.com. LLC. She's pulling up a site here for us to look at in a second. All right, play that video, and will they hear it? Will the video audience hear it? You don't need to hear it. But watch the graphics. You see the video on the right? I don't know. Lost it. It's right there. It's the small little video right there. Blow it up. So again, I'll talk over it a little bit. This is a video of Mountain Sky Ranch that's used on its cover page. We've used this, I think we've had this for about 3 years. It's just as relevant today as it was when we got it. There's some music that would be playing in the background that you'd be hearing. There's no voice over. So this is one element of our campus circumstances at CEED. This is what we call the ranch. It's about a 15-minute drive from us here at the warehouse. And so this is a video that is describing what the ranch does. Leigh-Ann, will they be hearing this when they do the replay, or are they hearing it live? Yeah. So after we first put this up, I probably asked 15 people what they thought we paid for this, and I had one person said $3,000. That was ridiculously high. But a whole bunch of people said hundreds of dollars. This was bought on Fiverr for $5.
No way.
Yeah. I provided, and I probably did an hour's worth, no, I didn't do an hour. I did half an hour's worth of work to get the person who made this sort of pick some pictures, so I provided just some links to pictures. That's a video that's really what the ranch looks like from above. I don't know where they got it. I don't know where that came from. Some of these other pictures don't look exactly like it. It's not really that important. But I didn't put a whole lot of time into it. That picture is a picture that I had given them. I gave them a little bit of info, and they prepared it. I'm curious, how much did you give them for the logo for the website?
Oh, we sent them we sent them a sketch of what we wanted it to look like, as well as some fonts that we thought had the same kind of organic feel, and they kind of took that and made the logo.
Okay. So it's pretty amazing what people will do. And did you pay any attention to where that person was from in the world?
No.
Check that out at some point, because it's interesting. there'll be a lot of people from other countries, but there'll be some U.S. folks also. And the guy who did that video was a U.S. Somebody that does video editing and videography. So back to the third question. And this was one that I don't expect right now you necessarily would have an answer for, but I'm going to ask. Susan gave her double answers. Where you're at, and some of you are brand new, some are farther along. Tiffany's been here the longest, but is there anything you've gained so far that makes you feel like I can truly tell somebody at some point that I gave back, I added some value? It wasn't just good for me. It gave back to both the CEED and NTP, but also to the planet. It's going to make the planet better. Tiffany's shaking her head. I'm gonna see if she has an answer, because she actually gave one a little bit already.
Yeah, I would go off the survey thing. I think it's great for the company to receive that kind of feedback, to know where you stand and what you should change and what you shouldn't change. What interns think, hey, maybe you should implement this. I would learn from this, and that's what I think. I think that I gave back that way.
Mm. Anybody else? I'll open it up more broadly to the room, to some of the people that are in here. Has anybody else got any other thoughts?
Just like giving back for Tiffany, she's done a lot of the interviews, the initial interviews, getting people to come in here. I know she did them with Noy, and she did it with Susan, I think, too, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a lot of the people that are here are in part due to Tiffany.
Yeah,
so.
And Joe.
Good. I didn't say cool.
Good.
All right, next question. And I actually asked all of them to think about this one, so I'm going to throw this one to all of them around the room. Just give everybody a little bit more sense of them. So when you were, if you were 15 years old right now, again, so back in time, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and you could be just doing something wherever you lived when you were 15. So this is going to give people a little glimpse of where you were. Tiffany's case, maybe in Dubai. And so what would you be doing? What would it be if you had your choice? It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. What would you be doing? Start with Joe.
Probably be in the middle of a lake in a rowboat with a few friends fishing.
And did you say was home back in the Northeast? Home
in
Connecticut?
Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Okay. Southwest Connecticut.
Jason?
I would have loved to have been playing soccer or badminton in my backyard. Either one would have.
We talked about that, and I've been to his backyard. That's one of the things, is that they came to us because I know his father as a business colleague, and so that's the way that they heard about what we're doing. Serena?
I would say definitely I would have been horseback riding. I've been riding since I was 9, and yeah, beautiful Saturday at 15. That's absolutely what I would have been doing.
I probably would have been, a lot of my friends, we all live in the same neighborhood, so we would walk and meet up with each other and go over to one of our houses, and we'd be creative with how to entertain ourselves. We would go on the trampoline, find a sprinkler, get some dishwasher soap, and just kind of slide around everywhere. Yeah, that was a picture of me. I just went on a trip to Israel with a lot of my friends, and we went on a camel ride.
And I think you told me were you born in Israel?
Yeah, I'm from Israel. I moved to St. Louis when I was 8 years old. So my direct family is the only one in the States. Everyone else is still in Israel. Yeah.
And do you remember language?
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm fluent in Hebrew. That's how I communicate with my mom, my dad, grandparents, cousins. I just don't know how to read or write it. That's the one thing I never learned.
And would you have begun to learn already before you were 8? You probably had done some.
Yeah, I had started a little bit, but
it's a very difficult language
to write. It definitely is. There's a lot of rules to it. But yeah, when I moved here, my main focus was learning English, so I kind of lost all of that.
Do you remember back to that time? Was it tough learning English too?
Absolutely. I was in. It's called ESL. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It stands for English as a Second Language. It's a program that I was in for about 4 years, and all props to that program. I wouldn't have known English without that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Tiffany. Saturday, beautiful day.
So I actually remember this very thought when I was 15. I am a water person through and through. I love swimming. I love kayaking. If I could get a boat and live in it, I would be happy. I don't need much. And since I grew up in a place that was so hot, I remember December 17th on my birthday sitting in the pool thinking, this is fantastic. It's 80 degrees outside and there's nowhere in the world where I could be outside right now at the pool. Could you imagine being in the pool in Fort Collins December 17th? No. And I sat there and I was like, I'm never going to forget this moment, and I never did, and I won't.
Susan.
I don't have anything really epic.
It doesn't have to be epic. I mean, you could have been reading, or could have been sitting at home.
Yeah, I could have been reading. I could have been causing trouble with friends.
Okay, there you go.
Probably causing trouble somewhere.
Eric? Eric's helping with Leigh-Ann, so she's telling him, get over here and get off.
I would probably go outside barefoot with my brother and just go exploring.
And again, he grew up locally. Of the group, he's the only one. Susan, did you grow up locally? Did you grow up?
Kind of. I moved to Colorado when I was 7. I lived in Denver until I was in my early
kind of local
30s.
All right. And so the two of them were both somewhat local, but everybody else was sort of out and about. A quick story personally about water in your area. And it wasn't in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. It was actually in Qatar in the middle of the summer, so the hottest time of the year. So it was over 120 during the day, and it would only cool off to around 100 at night. So it was not, and it was humid. So this is Houston-like humidity, where Houston doesn't get to 120. So Las Vegas temperature, Houston humidity, miserable. I mean, just during the day, other than if you had to be out working, and it was almost all non-locals. It was people from India or from the Philippines or others that had to work outside. They were the only ones you'd see outside. So I went out to the pool at the hotel I was at and to the ocean one afternoon after sort of finishing business. It was still 120 degrees, and I just knew it had to be just refreshing to get in the water. Guess how warm the water was?
No.
110. The pool was 110. That's hotter than what they recommend a hot tub to be. So it was not refreshing. So then I thought, I'm going in the ocean. The ocean's got to be refreshing. It was 105.
Yeah.
And it shocked me that anything was alive. And it was. There were fish and coral and a variety of things, but it was not refreshing. I mean, there was no way the water could cool you down. The only thing that was refreshing was to get back inside a building that was air conditioned, because it wasn't that refreshing to get in the water at 100 degrees. So I've never been in water that warm in a natural environment before. So we went around the room on that question. Here's another one that I asked everybody to think about, so I'll just ask it broadly. A book that you've read any time that just hits you in your mind. Susan already mentioned one earlier, so I know she's going to have one. That isn't a novel, so that's something, I guess it could be a novel, but that has affected you in either the direction you're planning to go in school that you're in now, or a career, or just generally your life, and it affected the way that you live today and your values or whatever else. Anybody, any book, and I'll just kind of look around and body language and such, and if you've got something that comes to mind. I can see thinking body language right now. Susan, you had one, so go ahead and give us yours. Well,
I picked The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. I think it's an amazing book, written a really, really long time ago, before we just had the movement right here and obvious, and it was take care of nature and everything will progress as it should be, as opposed to destruction and unsustainable living. It was a message to little kids to do the right thing. They've remade it into a couple different movies. All the movies are amazing, but it always has that same message. Respect the earth, and it'll do us favors back.
The Lorax, all right. Who else? Anybody got something? Not seeing body language. Nobody got it? Yeah, that's all right. Okay. How about a quote? Or Tiffany, you started to raise your hand. Did you have something? Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
okay.
mine is a movie based off of a book. I just recently saw it. It's called Fault in Our Stars. and it's about just a couple that has cancer, and they're a young couple, and
they both have it.
Yes, they both have it, and it just kind of gave me a different perspective in life. It made me appreciate, my health and my family's health, and it was a great movie, and I heard the book is even better, so I'm going to read that soon, definitely.
So again, keep thinking about that one, the book, but also then maybe a quote. Some quote you can remember from a person, anything. Something your parents might, I'm just trying to fill your head with some thoughts, something that you've heard. Joe, you've had.
Yeah, one quote that just pops into mind, Socrates, it's a really old one, let food be thy medicine. I think that's pretty important, that a lot of people have forgotten. No one really knows where their food comes from nowadays, or they don't put much thought to it, they just think about the grocery store. And I feel like that's something that needs to be looked at and kind of changed.
Food be thy medicine. We're going to see Socrates there. That's very nice. My head keeps going back to this cool little trip you just recently made. And one thing, the place you went, what did they talk about at the Monsanto facility you went to?
It was,
did you feel like you were being greenwashed?
No, not necessarily. I was kind of nervous going in, but everyone there, everyone's really nice. They really believe in what they're doing, but we didn't really talk too much about they showed us like the processes and all the greenhouse, the facility they have is incredible, and the research that's being done, all the scientists. Yeah, exactly. But so that was incredible, but we didn't really go too much into they didn't really expand into their thoughts. It's just it's a business. They're just trying to make money, and modifying crops is the best way to do it because it kind of creates a system that you just need to make more, if that makes sense. I'm losing the words that try to explain that, but anyways, one thing they did talk about that was interesting was that their sustainability on the nutrients that are being put into the land and trying to reduce nitrate waste and everything flowing into the Gulf. And so that was one thing they talked about. They didn't really talk about sustainability.
Well, and that's important. That is a real huge issue. The nitrate loss, the nitrogen that's lost.
They are doing a lot of work into that.
Horrible on our aquatic resources, so lakes and streams and all the way into the oceans. So that's important to be doing. Anybody else come up with a quote or a thought?
Well, it's not like a famous quote or anything, but I'm just sort of thinking things my parents say. And my mom, whenever I would do something that would, yield some kind of result in my life that I didn't like, whether, I cut my finger on accident, like cutting vegetables or something, or procrastinate on my homework, and I'd express being unhappy about it, she just would say, "Yeah, don't do that." I don't know. I think it's just a good way to think about things. Like if something's going on and you've situated yourself in something that is not where you want to be, then just never forget that you can change it.
Right. So I know a little bit about all these people, and Serena's mother's from Sri Lanka. So I'm wondering if that was a Sri Lankan statement that she equated to English, or
I think it's just her thing.
So now your parents both from Israel?
Yeah. Yep.
And did they have much English language knowledge?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They learn English?
Yeah, everyone. It's required in Israel for everyone to learn English, so their English is great. My mom works in the States. She works here in Boulder, so yeah.
Tiffany, did you learn much Arabic?
I know quite a bit of Arabic, but unfortunately everybody wanted to practice their English on me, so I never got to practice my Arabic on anybody. But I can say some things, and I understand more than I can speak. It's actually really harsh on the throat to try to come out with a sentence.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is. So
yeah, it's a lot of...
Most of you have heard this, but I'm not going to apologize for it. There's sort of a joke and a riddle. I've never used it with any here, but you'll get this probably because it's what we're talking about. What do you call someone that speaks 3 languages? What would you say they were? Someone that speaks 3 languages, what? Trilingual. So what is someone that speaks 2 languages? Bilingual. What's somebody that speaks 1 language?
American.
And it's not a compliment, by the way. And it is unique because we're really, the only developed country in the world where we're so unilanguage, because you just go to every other developed language and they speak multiple languages.
It's actually funny, if I can go off on that. I have a lot of foreign friends, and they'd be like, you don't speak English, you speak American. I speak English, especially my British friends. They're like, you don't speak English. I don't know what you people call English.
None of you knew each other prior to this relationship situation, right? I think we found out a few things. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, Serena said high school. I heard earlier, I think, from them that they've known each other since grade school, even elementary school, so it's been a while. But you learn interesting things. So today I learned, and I think Noy learned, that Serena and she have something in common now, sort of where Serena's living and going to school, and where Noy grew up. And so it's really interesting how the world just brings us together to learn different things. One of the things that I would like to see us do better in our internship. So the next set of questions is going to be for you to tell me some things about our internships that we could either be doing better or that you really liked. I mean, that you think we're doing well. Tiffany's already said several things about that. But so I really think one thing that I observed that we could do better is broadly interact, even though it's hard because certain days there'll only be certain people here. Everybody that's here today is working today, so they didn't come in today just for this. But we'll have other days, like Saturday, is it Sunday? We don't have any interns right now. And there'll be other days when it's 3 or 4, but it won't be the same ones that are here today. Jason and Serena are the only two that are working every day. They're doing a shorter term internship in terms of time, but they're doing it on a full-time basis while they're here, so they're here all the time. I think we could do a better job of helping you interact. And the whole goal was to do these huddles that allow that, but it really needs to happen more frequently. So think about that one as you think, and tell me some things. Again, I'm not going to just ask everybody individually, but just give me some body language again that you think we could either be doing better or that you really like what we're doing in terms of internships. And Joe's brand new, so he probably should apply.
I've thought about that question before, because there's a lot of interns that come in, and I talk to them. Hi, I'm Tiffany. Thanks for applying to Nourish the Planet. And I never get to meet them, because we're just on different schedules. So I was hopeful that maybe one day we can come to, on Fridays, just having a couple extra hours after work where people just have lunch, or we do something together as interns.
Last summer we did that. Last summer we had a Friday sort of barbecue, and different staff and or interns would actually be sort of the cooks for the day. And we did a little bit of it this year, but we've really, as everybody that's here knows, we've had a late summer. It's just really, this is sort of the first week where it does seem kind of like it's been nice weather-wise and to be outside consistently. But I agree. I think something like that would be awesome. And we ought to think about how we do that. I mean, that's something where we just develop it. It doesn't take us a whole lot of thought. Just do it. What else? What are some other thoughts? How else? Let's just stay specific. How could we help people get together more? And even after the internship, that part of the reason that Tiffany did the project that she talked about is we really want to stay integrated with the interns. I feel, for example, that one of the things that's lacking from my educational experience, and I had a lot of it. I went to 5 different colleges over periods of time, 2 for undergraduate, 3 different graduate schools. 2 undergraduate, 3 different graduate schools. I don't have a great relationship communication-wise with 4 of those 5. And I do have a better communication because of Facebook and other social media today with people that I went to school with than I've ever had before. But the universities themselves, and they were diverse. They went all the way from small liberal arts to very large university systems. I don't think they've done a very good job at all with even attempting to keep up with me. The thing they do more than anything else, can you guess kind of what that is?
Ask you for money.
Yeah, I heard it in the room. They ask for money. So UC Irvine, which is where my bachelor's is from, and I was very involved. I played tennis there on their varsity tennis team, where it was one of the more prominent sports in the school at the time. We won 2 national championships my junior and senior year. I was involved in student politics a little bit, but I don't hear anything from them other than asking for money. And they call 4 or 5 times a month asking for money in one way or another. But I think that lacks, and you guys don't know it. You aren't there yet, and hopefully your schools do a better job. My guess is that yours will. So because the one that I went to that did a great job was the small liberal arts school, and I actually served on their board afterwards, not because I made a big effort to try to do it. They actually made sure that I stayed engaged. So I think we would like to be able to do that more. And I actually think the Wall of Fame, did you throw a slide up of that earlier, Leigh-Ann? And we don't need to take pictures because she actually has some of it. She's going to show it. This is where we show pictures of the folks that are have gone through our internship, and you can't see them real closely. You need to come by here and look sometime, because buried in that picture right there are 3 non-human interns that are important, and maybe she can zoom in and you can see a couple of them. There's one right in the middle, actually right in the very middle.
So cute.
Which is a cat, which was here for a couple of years as a mouser and actually had a really important job. And so an alumni. But otherwise, everyone there is somebody that finished the internship. And the ones that I remember the most are the ones that I know have jobs in the industry right now. And as we're going through, I could just start naming off names there. And then the ones that I really would be able to talk about is stop on Sean, who's the guy with the red there. Sean worked here for almost 2 years after finishing his internship, and he did exactly what we would hope would happen with somebody that goes through here as an intern or as an employee or as anything, which is he's now an entrepreneur. We want to grow entrepreneurs. So it hurt us when Sean left because he was incredibly valuable, but it also was what his dream was. He was going to become his own business owner, and Sean owns his own business now. And we're helping support him in that, and he still does contractual work for us, and he was up doing training for us just not that long ago up in Canada. So, and that would be the perfect kind of outcome. To the right there, she's actually stays heavily involved with us because she did some health-related work with us. The fellow to the right, the flake of microgreens, is a construction guy, and he was a post-college person like Susan who was trying to change his career. He had no background in anything that we do, and he's now engaged in the sustainability industry, and he stays involved in communication. And I just counted earlier today, there are now 54 people that are on the Wall of Fame, of which, 54 pictures, of which 4 were the non-human variety, I think, 3 or 4. And so that means 50 or 51. And are we caught up, Josh? Is there still some pictures left?
Only one.
So one more that isn't up there. And what I'd like to see is that you guys, and you'll all become alumni here soon, when you're done. Unfortunately, it's sooner than we would like. It'd be really neat if you could last a lot longer, but that you then stay engaged. So give some suggestions now about how, let's dialogue. So we have about 5 minutes left here, and I'm going to end on one other question. I'm going to give you a glimpse of it right now so you can think about it. So the last question I'm going to ask all of you, this one, is if Friday, 2 days from now, you woke up in the morning and you realized I'm not where I was when I went to sleep last night. I am somewhere different. You're on, and you figured out pretty quickly this is a different planet. It kind of looks like Earth, and so you're and let's say it's, other than Jason and Serena who wake up in a trailer because they're out of my ranch. But if you could start talking to people right away that were sort of around you, you'd realize, well, this isn't Earth, but it's sure an awful lot like it. And all you have is a laptop and $500, the equivalent of $500. What are you going to do over the next 7 days? What are you going to do with that laptop and $500 over the next 7 days? So be thinking about that. So let's first talk about that other question I asked. What can we all be doing? What can Nourish the Planet CEED do? And then what can you do as you become alumni of this to help us stay in better communication and to add value to your and your lives as we move ahead? Some thoughts, just whatever hits you that we could do. Tiffany's thinking of something there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know just from hearing from past interns that they check the Nourish the Planet Facebook page quite often, and they tell me about the projects that we're doing. I'm like, that's so cool, you know. But I think we should have something for the interns as well, and we've touched base previously on coming up with a newsletter. And I think it would be cool if we throw in a newsletter that we're going to have a luncheon on Friday, and because that's how CSU does it. Otherwise, I wouldn't know that they're having free food on the Oval.
Okay, so a newsletter. Facebook. Here, I'm going to throw something out to all of you. Go to the Facebook page and especially either comment, like, or share other interns' posts. As you all know, we ask you to do posts. So I think you've all done it. You haven't, Joe, yet, new, but everyone else has done one or more posts. So go to other people's and engage. That will be huge for us, but also for you, I hope, because then people will start to realize and they'll comment back. So also your own posts, make sure that you look to see if anybody's commented. I know that Facebook does allow you to get notifications through your email or whatever, and I do that, so I pretty well know if somebody's commented or on something that I've written otherwise. So just encourage that. So what are some other thoughts? Because we're going to run out of time pretty quick, and I want to answer that last question. What else could we be doing?
To get all the interns together even after they've moved on?
So that not just to get them together, but to stay engaged as much as they would want to be, and to make them be able to helpfully improve their careers, get jobs, do better jobs, whatever, because of their involvement here.
It'd be good to have some type of network system where everyone would be able to have their information and what they're doing currently. So you'd be able to like see if there's any similarities among people that would be able to connect and share ideas and so forth.
You can even just have like an intern Facebook group, and past, present interns interact with
Yeah, and you can have closed groups on Facebook. So and that would be one way, Tiffany, that we could solve the sort of where it's kind of the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So I mean, in that closed group, the reality is it's just those people that are either qualify and then meet whatever requirements are that can be in. Because that's a great idea. So, any other thoughts on that? All right, we're going to go the different direction around the room this time for the last question. So the last question again, we'll end on this, is if you just woke up today, you're clearly on a different planet, so you're not going to know, you know nobody right now, but it really looks like it operates just like Earth. You have $500 and a laptop. You got 7 days. What are you going to do over the next 7 days? Oh, and your basic needs are taken care of. You don't have to worry about getting food or clothing. So you're not going to spend that $500 on sort of your basic needs. What would you do with that laptop and $500 over the next 7 days? Okay.
So I think I would take a trip to the bank, deposit my $500, and then go on my computer and search on eBay for a used camera. And spend as much as I can, most of that $500 on camera, and just take pictures that are of all the differences. If it is any different, but if it's not any different, then it might be kind of besides the point. But
okay,
I guess.
Good. So put money in the bank, buy a camera, and then start taking pictures. Susan's heavy in thought here. So.
I don't like the question at all. I have no idea. I might sleep.
Save the money.
Yeah, save the money, sleep for a week straight, sleep, maybe I'd be refreshed and back home a week later.
So she's going to sleep, save the money, and sleep.
Well, if it's not Earth, I would probably explore. I would go everywhere. If I have a laptop, okay, GPS, go. That's how I am. I'm so spontaneous like that. I would wake up one morning and be like, all right, I'm gonna go to Germany tomorrow, and I'll just do it.
Okay.
You know.
You're going to explore. That's good.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I would, if there's internet, I would first of all search where am I and find out, and then I would just go explore as well and discover things and meet new people and kind of figure out where I am and just enjoy my surroundings. And especially that I'm alone, that's kind of an advantage to do whatever you want.
Serena.
Yeah, well, like Eric said, the bank seems like a pragmatic first move. That first. And then, yeah, I guess I'd use the laptop to find, like, see what was around, find a good, like, public place, just like either like a park or like a coffee shop or something, just to, like, sit and people watch, kind of figure out what's going on. That's probably what I would do.
Okay.
I'm going to jump on the bandwagon here and explore, but along with that, document. So perhaps keep a journal, take photos.
Okay.
I would search the internet and just kind of figure out where I am, what I want to do. Like exploring sounds like a great idea, and I'd like to, but ideally I'd like to find a problem, and to kind of use something where I could use my skills to help solve problems or do something, and then use that $500 towards that.
All right. Well, this was fun. Did you guys enjoy this?
Yeah.
And those of you watching, I hope you enjoyed it. We had a smaller group in the room today because usually we have all the interns that are in the room as the audience. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, audience. Come back and see us again in 2 weeks. Actually, I think is it right, Leigh-Ann? Is this the time when we have a 3-week break? Is this one of those weird months where maybe we have, so today's the 18th, it'll be the 25th. No, it'll be the 2nd, so it'll be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. Some months there's actually 5 weeks, and so it ends up being 3 weeks in between. And we actually don't have a specific speaker booked yet. We're going to get that done here in the next little bit. We were supposed to have Jeff Finkel today. Jeff had jury duty. I should have said that at the front end, and some of you probably got the announcement about Jeff. Jeff is a good friend of mine. He's the head of the International Economic Development Council and is very interested in the whole topic of sustainability and the kinds of ways we can get the planet better. He's going to come and speak still. Maybe we'll have him in 2 weeks. He's on jury duty, so we can't really talk to him right now for the next couple days. So we're not sure who the speaker will be yet, but we'll have something fun. If nothing else, we'll get all these group around again and talk about some things. I actually do have a thought. We might go out into the warehouse and explore around a little bit and show people projects and different things that we're doing. So now maybe instead of having you on camera here, we'll just kind of go up to wherever it is that you're doing your project. But anyway, thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.